Hello everybody. Today's date is February 11th, 2016, and my name is Leslie Williams. Now, I'm going to have to just kind of somewhat soft in this video for legal and strategic purposes. I live in La Jolla, California. I'm a target victim and activist concerned the criminal expeditions of what is known as organized stalking, which can also be termed as gang stalking. Now, let me, I kind of set up this hiking area early today because I got a migraine. Again. Hold on a minute. Now, I'm going to interject something here real fast. And you can research it for yourself. I know that a target of this crime was covered on Coast to Coast AM, and a author of a book that kind of goes over some of the aspects of what can happen to a gang stalking victims was on Coast to Coast AM. It was either in March or April of 2015. Now, you might not be able to find it on the internet without signing up and becoming a member of Coast to Coast AM, which is like, I think, 15 cents a day. Hold on a minute. Let me clean this off here real fast. The reason I'm bringing that particular show up before I segue into the subject matter of this video is because even the author of a book, I even forgot the name of the book. I apologize, but just bear with me for a second. You'll understand what I'll give you enough information to where you should be able to find it. If you're interested, when you go to Coast, if you go to Google and type in Coast to Coast AM radio show, okay, you'll see how you can become a member to where you can, once you become a member, you can then go into all their archived shows and listen to them. Now, you can also YouTube Coast to Coast AM, George Norrie, electronic harassment, gang stalking, and you should also be able to listen to some other shows concerning this subject matter being covered on this particular radio show. Stay with this video. I guarantee you'll be glad you did, and I apologize I'm getting a slow start, but I got a migraine, and it's the only reason why I set up camp this early is because I've dealt with now at least 3 migraines in the past 4.5 days. Now, the reason why I brought up that show, it was, I know it was in either March or April of 2015. Hold on. I think part of the title of the show had to do with mind control, but don't quote me. Now, when you hear that, you might think to yourself, well, this shit sounds crazy. This doesn't interest me. Fellow American citizens, do not dismiss my statements. Okay? Hold on a second. Now, the person who was the author of this book, who was on the show that night, she said her husband was I think a computer programmer for Homeland Security, and the book she wrote, I wish I could remember her name right now, the book she wrote had to deal with some of the subcrimes that can happen to gang stalking victims, and and then once they talked about it for a while, some organized stalking, gang stalking victims actually called the show up. Now, the reason why I brought all that up is because she even mentioned how gang stalking victims seem to experience a abnormal amount of migraines. Now, you can go to Google. Okay, this is where the meat and potatoes are going to start, and then I'm going to segue into the subject matter. You can go to Google and type in a gang stalking tech, everything you need to know, even though it's not everything you need to know. It was written by a manager of gang stalking crews. It appears that a woman wrote it. At first I thought it was a man that wrote it until I re-went over it and discovered some things that were in it. Leads me to believe that it was a woman who wrote it. And she, in that manifesto, even states that these filthy perpetrating animals have technology that can induce artificial migraines. And you can also go to Google and type in SDSU cluster of migraines. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because there's an article online, I just seen it again last week, showing that somebody did a news article or a commentary about how there's an unusual amount of clusters of people that live around SDSU campus that are experiencing massive frequent migraines, and it's being deduced that the reason why that is because of the abnormal amount of EMF that is being transmitted in that area. Now, when you go to Google and YouTube and you research all the technologies that can be perpetrated against an organized stalking, gang stalking, targeted individual, just type in gang stalking and technology and research it extensively. Fellow American citizens, my name is S.C. Williams. Now, if you've never had a migraine, I don't expect you to understand what it's like to deal with one. Some can be so bad that you don't even feel like getting up to take an aspirin that's 3 feet away from you. That's how bad they can be. Hold on. I'm drinking some coffee. Sorry. I think an ant got in my cup. Now, fellow American citizens, hold on a minute. Everything I'm stating in this video, I'm stating so you can take each description and research it. I'm not claiming that what I'm stating is happening to me, and I'm not stating that it's not. And the reason why I'm stating that I'm not stating that it is happening to me is because I'm not saying that it is happening to me, and I'm not saying that it's not happening to me. The reason why I'm stating that in the way that I am is because these filthy, sick, sewer, rat, maggot-ass animals are in the system that are perpetrating these criminal realities, and they don't give two shits about who they hurt, how much they hurt. They'll even target the children and pets of a target. In fact, you can go to Google right now and research how gang stalking, organized stalking, will murder the pets of targets. They killed my cat Higgins. I had her from the time she was that big for, I think, at least 14 years. They killed her back in 2005. They poisoned her. She died a slow death on my arms. I named my Twitter account after her. HIGGINS GGGG. Hold on. Now it's all over the internet that these sick, filthy, maggot, rat-ass animal whores are killing the pets of us targeted individuals because pets provide us emotional connections, love, unconditional love, friendship. They do not want a targeted individual to have any type of relationship that produces healthy neural and emotional responses. Okay, because menticide is one of the main objectives that they have in store for the target individual, mental rape, to where they basically kill who you are mentally in reference to your psychology, the way you think. That's what gaslighting is all about, in part. That term can be Googled and YouTubed as well. That term actually came from the movie Gaslight with Ingrid Bergman concerning some of the methods that her husband was perpetrating for her to experience in order to make her appear crazy to their social circle and to have her committed so he could take the house and find the jewelry that was hidden in it. So you can at the very most, in reference to going out of your way to watch that movie, you can Netflix it, probably for $1. Now that movie is called literally Gaslight. Now what is exposed in that movie in reference to what he's doing to her are literal techniques of what happens to gang stalking targets, and for the actual same, because gang stalking, organized stalking, is basically a type of crime that enslues a massive amount, a bunch of different types of criminal motivations. One target can be picked from 9 different criminal motivations: illegal syndicated probate control, massive insurance fraud, non-consensual human experimentation, human trafficking, sexual servitude rings, land co-opting, property co-opting, mortgage co-opting, equity co-opting, trust fund liquidation, you name it. Any type of crime that you can think of, these sick, filthy, maggot, rat-ass animal whores are involved in. Every type of crime you can think of. Literally. Now, fellow American citizens, so when you watch that movie Gaslight and you see what he's doing to her and why, the entire movie in reference to what he does, why he's doing it, okay, and how it's affecting her, are literal gang stalking techniques. Literally. Hold on. Is that why the psychological mind games that they intentionally play against the target are called gaslighting? Don't think it's an accident. Alright, now, so, to give you an example of that right off the bat, when you watch the movie Gaslight, you see that he's up in the attic playing mind games with her. Okay? Watch that movie and then correlate the fact to the YouTube video. Hold on. GangStalking bullying on steroids. Just to clearly see they got on the roof of that guy's home. That was done to gaslight him and to keep him in a non-stop, constant, hyper-vigilant mindset to keep the body constantly reacting to the anxiety that's produced from the stress from the events, because they were repeating it towards them. Just because it was only covered once on that show doesn't mean they weren't repeating it, because that's a main aspect of being a victim of this crime, is experiencing repetitive harassment. Okay, so hold on. Alright, fellow American citizens, basically what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to describe to you, in organized stalking, gang stalking expeditions, one of the main things they do is make a target individual homeless. It's all over the internet that they do this. Just Google it. Okay. Now, let me help you understand something. Organized stalking and gang stalking is a crime that is perpetrated by federal, state, county, city, and local governments working as a syndicate. It's organized crime in the system at every level. They also had the influence and power to use anybody in the community and any place. Businesses, universities, colleges, even grade schools and high schools, students and staff. Okay, I think I mentioned libraries. Any place, because of their employment description and the influence, and which can also include intimidation, that is attached to these employment descriptions, is where they yield their power, combined with other techniques like lies about the target that they tell. Go to YouTube and type in "listen to a stranger." Okay, what I'm doing in this video in reference to some aspects of it is giving you preliminary information, so you can take it and research it, cross-reference it, synthesize what comes up, and at least then you'll get a preface in reference to how these little sick, maggot, rat-ass animal whores operate, so you can see that it's actually going on. You can also go to Google and combine, like when you go to YouTube and you type in "listen to a stranger," combine that with the knowledge of not just people impersonating police, but also actual police officers. You can also combine that with the Googled search fake bogus criminal investigation files, cross-reference that to the slander of a target, back to the "listen to a stranger" video, and you can see how easy it is for them to dupe and use anybody in the community to do anything towards the target individual. My name is Leslie Williams. I'm in San Diego, California, and this is going to be one of the best videos that I've ever made, because I am just I'm fed up. I'm past the point of where I just don't give a shit about me exposing the factual realities of what's happening to a specific target individual. Read between the lines. Hold on. Stay with this video. Now, every single human being on this planet needs water, food, and sleep. Those are the three main things that they need in order to survive at the basic level: water, food, and sleep, and clothes. Okay? We don't even really need clothes as long as we got the ability to build a fire. But the point being is that these little sick, filthy, maggot, rat-ass animal whores, and please excuse my language, but when you continue to listen to me, you'll understand why I'm using that strong language. They know that a target, anybody and everybody's got to sleep, and they know this. So when they create the homelessness, and they absolutely will engage in covert mechanisms and techniques to keep the homelessness covertly ongoing, they know that that target individual has to have sleep, because every human being has to have sleep. Stay with me. Now, as a result of this, what they will do, see, the stalking of gang stalking is really nothing but covert physical surveillance, okay, and illegal GPS tracking of the target's computer, phone, any electronic device. You know, there's even information online that a flash drive can be used as a GPS tracker. Okay, now I haven't done enough exhaustive research on that, but let me just put it to you this way. I have no doubt in my mind at all that a computer can be used for GPS tracking. A cell phone absolutely can, and that is all over the internet to be absolute identified and implicated techniques of these criminal expeditions. Basically, so then they know where the target's at all times in real time. The police are absolutely connected to these criminal realities, and I'm not saying every single police officer, but let me just put it to you this way. It doesn't matter if you're a captain, a lieutenant, a sergeant, or just a regular cop. These filthy maggots in the federal government had the influence and the absolute resources to make sure that any police officer that would ever cause them any problems would be put in line and kept in line. Make no mistake about it. Hold on. Police officers can also be part of these organized crime syndicates. Make no mistake about it. Google it. To gang stalking, then in a separate search, organized stalking. So, they make the homelessness, and through many different techniques and methods and continued covert surveillance and some of the descriptions I've already aforementioned, go to Google and type in landlords and property owners and gang stalking. Every description, first research to gang stalking, then in separate searches to organized stalking. Look at what comes up, so you'll be able to discover how they operate. A good way to see how they can creatively, covertly keep the homelessness created of a targeted individual, go to Google and type in Erica Dean Gilmore, California gang stalking target. There's a PDF documentation file online that she wrote. Okay, hold on. A prospective landlord that she was trying to apply for tenancy at opened up and told her that after she applied for tenancy, that an individual approached her and told her not to rent to her. Now, this is how they keep the homelessness created. They will then, through the continued covert surveillance and the illegal GPS tracking of the target individual, they will then track the target individual to areas where they sleep at. You might think to yourself, well, why don't they just go get a motel room? We'll go to Google and type in motels and gang stalking, motel rooms and gang stalking, motel managers and gang stalking, even motel housemaids and gang stalking. Do it. So, they know that the target individual has to have sleep. So, judges, lawyers, doctors, police officers, fire department personnel, okay, prosecutors, public defenders, DAs, even attorney generals for any identified state that this is going on in, okay, will take orders from the federal government in reference. It's all over the internet that the federal government is the responsible party for these crimes, because there's no way in hell that this crime could be producing anywhere between at least 2.5 to 4 million targeted individuals in America alone without the federal government being involved in it, because otherwise they'd be prosecuting the perpetrators. It would have never reached that high level of numbers of targets. Okay? You can also go to Google and type in any type of mail delivery service in gang stalking. That's how they created the homelessness of me, by stealing my rent that was mailed, certified mail, return receipt through the United States Postal Service, and the rent was purchased through a United States Postal Service money order. Now, then they turned around and expected me to repay that month's rent, plus the one that was coming up due, and they could have easily stole both of those as well, while I was dealing with a bunch of massive crimes that were happening to me at that apartment complex and in the apartment. Now, fellow American citizens, when you research how a target individual are gang stalked and harassed every day, creatively, overtly, and at times directly, including assaults, robberies, rapes, okay, you can easily see that the target individual is being tracked in real time, because the only way that this harassment can for the target to endure every day, everywhere they go, is they got to know where the target's at in real time at all times. So, the target individuals, all of us, are saying all over the internet that we're being harassed along all of our routes every day, everywhere we go, everywhere we go. I've already illustrated to you how we can be made homeless. They obviously had to know where we were living. I've illustrated how they will gang stalk you to motel rooms. So do you honestly think that they will not gang stalk you and stage events and including arrest and tickets for illegal lodging, illegal encroachment, or trespassing, because they know you got to sleep? Now, what are some of the other methodologies of why they bring about these campaigns towards the target individual? Hold on. Now, this is where it's going to start to get a little bit good. pay attention closely. On on Valentine's Day 2013, an individual by the name of Mike Fitzhugh Bell was on Coast to Coast AM radio show. I'll repeat that. Mike Fitzhugh Bell and Roger Tulsis was on Coast to Coast AM radio show on Valentine's Day 2013. Go to Google. Now you can archive that show as well. You can try and watch it by going to YouTube and see if you can bring one of the videos of it up. And basically, Mike Fitzhugh Bell was a screenwriter in California, a targeted individual of these crimes. He wrote the book, The Invisible Crime. You can Google that right now, Mike Fitzhugh Bell, Organized Stalking, Coast to Coast AM, and you'll be able to bring up his website. Once you bring up his website, you'll be able to see the book he wrote called The Invisible Crime. Right on the cover of that book shows a human being's head with a neural implant right in the middle of it. Now, then go to Google and type in neural implantation and gang stalking, non-consensual human experimentation and gang stalking, and look at what comes up. Now, are these neural implants, which are just one of many different types of implants that can be put in the human biology of gang stalking targets, is there also technology called BCI implants, which are brain-to-computer interface implants that they put in target individuals' brain, central nervous system, EMGs, which is basically your musculatory system, and more, okay? So they can gain a neurological and physiological access of the target individual's biological systems as a result of these implants being put in the target individual's brain and their biology. Now, these implants interface with a computer that has remote neural monitoring incorporated within it. As a result, go to Google right now and type in remote neural monitoring space biotronics. If you research that website thoroughly, you should be able to get at least a good representation pertaining to how this technology can basically monitor the entire biological system, including the brain and everything that is processed in it, including subvocal speech. Now, what these BCI implants are brain-to-computer interface. It's called the computer-to-brain feedback loop. I want you to listen to me right now. Go to Google and type in Clyde Lewis Ground Zero Show. Hit enter. Once you hit enter, his website should come up. Once you click on his website and bring it up, okay, there's a feature in it called Listen Now. Once you click on that with your mouse, a little menu will fall down. Then click on the spot where it says Listen on SoundCloud. Once you click on that, his archived shows will come up in reference to all of his prior shows. At least look at the one that was broadcast on 9/04/2015. That show is dedicated to some of the technologies that can be perpetrated against organized stalking, gang stalking targeted individuals, and many statements are made pertaining to what us targeted individuals can absolutely experience. Also, the show The Burn Invaders, which you can YouTube by Jesse Ventura, is a show dedicated to targeted individuals. And that's what gang stalking victims are called, TIs, targeted individuals, brain invaders. Also go back to Google and type in remote brain targeting. That's the name of a book. That book is completely dedicated to exposing the patented technologies that organized stalking, gang stalking victims can experience. So, feel free to go back and listen to this video so you can listen to it in segments, so you can write down what I state and then research everything, and then go back and continue to listen so you can continue to research other things that I state. So imagine you taking a tape recorder like this one. You take a tape recorder and you start recording and you repeat gang stalking, organized stalking, gang stalking. Oh my God, gang stalking. I gotta be descriptive now, so I apologize for it. Listen, gang stalking, suck my dick. Gang stalk, suck dick. Suck, dick, gang stalk. Now, this tape recorder will tape what I just said. Now, the computer-to-brain feedback loop, okay, can literally play things like this over and over and over and over in the targeted individual's mind for the audio cortex to experience. And some of these statements are actually exposed in that Ground Zero show. So can you imagine somebody hacking into your brain with remote neural monitoring, using their neural implants, and it's now even being disclosed that neural implants are not even needed anymore because of how they have continued to develop this technology in order to gain a neurological access so the entire biological system, okay, can be hacked into, including the video and audio cortex. Now, B2K is another technology that can be responsible for repeated things that are constantly repeated inside the target individuals, transmitted for the audio cortex to hear, the computer-to-brain feedback loop. So can you imagine being neurally tortured like this? You might think to yourself, this woman is crazy, she's out of her mind. Really? So go to Google and research what I'm stating, and listen to that Ground Zero show with Clyde Lewis. Can you imagine thinking to yourself, having a memory of something that they did to you, playing over in your head, and then the microwave hearing effect and or B2K intentionally harassing you about what has been replayed in your head through the computer-to-brain feedback loop? Like, say if they assault you, including even rapes, they can stimulate the memory of that. Go to Google and type in remote neural monitoring stimulating memories. They can stimulate the memory of that event so the brain will relive it and then transmit through the microwave hearing effect and or V2K, harassing dialogue right as the memory is being re-experienced or right after it. Like, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with her? Is she crazy? Is he crazy? What did you do to him? As this stimulated memory is being re-experienced by these little sick, filthy, maggot, rat-ass animal whores. Can you imagine them doing this to a child? Especially to a child or any adult, or even a teenager, obviously. That they're doing this to, and that those specific individuals have no idea how it's being done. My name is Leslie Williams. I'm in San Diego, California. I am describing torture. Now, if you are a mature, intelligent individual, you won't dismiss this video. You'll take what I state and you'll research it, bit by bit, and then cross-reference what comes up, synthesize it together, and you will understand the neural torture, and the physiological torture, and the emotional torture of the targeted individual. Hold on. I'm going to give you another sidebar illustration here. After they create the homelessness, they will engage in what is known as terror campaigns. They will create fear that the target individual is going to be arrested and or ticketed for illegal lodging, trespassing, or encroachment. They do this by repeating threats around the target. Okay? But what is he or she doing in there? I'll just give an example. I'm not saying this is happening to me, and I'm not saying it's not, but in order for me to go into the details of how they would do this, I'll just basically say, look, you got a target individual, a homeless person that they've made homeless. They know where the target's at all times in real time. Through the aforementioned descriptions pertaining to illegal GPS tracking and covert physical surveillance. Now, when you go to Google and YouTube and you type in dark neural linguistic programming techniques of GangStalking, which is basically nothing but psychic driving, which means that what the perpetrators are doing is using mostly duped citizens to do people they use through slander, bribery, whatever, okay? And what they will do is they know where the target's at their hiking area, where they're resting at, whatever, okay? And they will prop these people up, including even propping people up to camp near them, who are told what to say in order to bring about a neural response, a mental response based on what is said and what is heard. Like, gangstalk, why don't you call the cops on them? Gangstalk, why don't you come and steal his stuff? Who's that in there? Now, this is done to induce fear that something's going to happen based on the theme of the statement. It's where there's psychic loud. Hang on. That is what psychic driving is called, where they're steering, driving, the psychology, the thinking, psychic driving. the target's thinking based on what they hear, which are threats. That's why it's called dark neural linguistic programming. The threat is what's dark in nature. The neural response is brought about through the programming of the language that's used, the threat. So what they'll do is intentionally create the fear based on the theme, the threat, okay? The target, they say the threat, for the target to hear, the target experiences a mental response based on the threat, okay? And as a result, they start thinking, what's going to happen to me today? Am I going to be arrested? Am I going to be ticketed? If I'm arrested or ticketed and put in jail for more than 30 days, I can lose my Social Security. How will I feed myself then? And this is how they control the fear of the target individual, okay? They will also engage in things to make the target individual believe that they are going to be seen and or heard at the spot by propping up people close by the area where they're sitting at, okay, to make them believe that they will be used to call the cops if these people see or hear the target. Now, you might think to yourself, this all sounds crazy. Really? Well, remember, you can go to YouTube and type in GangStalking bullying on steroids. You'll clearly see that this guy is describing how he's gang-stalked along all of his routes, including in his own home. When you go to Google and type in how these little filthy maggots will use fellow tenants that are in apartments across from, above, below, or across from, that means like across the hall from a target's apartment, or next to a target apartment, or above or below, then you can clearly see that they will go to those links to use fellow tenants that are living right by a target, or they will occupy apartments that are vacant above, below, or across from a target for these kinds of harassments. They will use landlords and property owners. They will stage events at apartment complexes to make the target individual wonder if they're going to get kicked out as a result of the results of the staged event, where the target is blamed for it. Now, so basically what I'm saying is that they will induce the fear, okay, and then keep the fear ongoing through the repetition of what created the fear, continued threats. This is done to keep the target individual in a non-stop neural mental loop of non-stop constant fear and hypervigilant about what's going to happen to him today, including assaults. So, can you imagine living like this? If every single thing that I've described to you is happening to you. That's not including also some of the other sub-crimes of the technology that can be incorporated against a gang-stalking target. Hold on. Now, when you research organized stalking and gang stalking online, and then cross-reference that, and you will realize the non-stop harassment that targets endure. Then if you throw in the mix with the harassment, the possible neural and physiological and biological manipulation of remote neural monitoring, B2K, and the microwave hearing effect, okay, and brain stimulation, psychotronics, okay, then we think to ourselves, well, this is a person who's being mentally harassed every day, being made to live in fear constantly of being assaulted, arrested, ticketed, robbed, raped, their property stolen. Everything that you can think of that would induce fear in your mind, they will anchor in a target's mind to make them think that it's going to happen to them. Because it's what the fear that counts. In fact, if you don't believe what I'm saying in reference to them anchoring fear in a person's mind intentionally, go to Google and type in a gang stalking tech, everything you need to know. It's a manifesto of a manager of gang stalking crews. It's not the entire thing. It's not everything you need to know. In the manifesto, it flat out states that they intentionally falsely diagnosed an individual with brain cancer. And it literally went on to say that it wasn't about the fact that they were actually going to, which I found kind of peculiar. If I remember correctly, the manifesto stated that they were not actually intentionally going to give the person cancer. How could they do that? Well, there are frequency-induced illnesses. Okay, just trust me on this. Like, you can go to Google right now and type in frequency-induced diseases and look at what comes up. But the point being is what the manifesto states. I'm just regurgitating it. But it literally states that if I remember correctly, the person who wrote it literally said it's not like we were actually going to cause the person to have health issues, but it's the fear that counts. Now, when you look at how stalking induces fear, when you look at how the dark neurolinguistic programming technique and the direct conversation method is all designed to intentionally harass a target, this is a crime that intentionally lets you know that you're experiencing it. I'm in San Diego, California, and my name is Leslie Williams. I'm going to prove it to you in this video. Now, fellow American citizens, so when you look at how the target individual is harassed every day, everywhere they go, made homeless, trying to survive that, okay, constantly worrying about what's going to happen to them as a result of they'll prop up assholes, okay, to literally go by a target's hiking area and say, who's that in there? Okay, or what is she doing, even though, or what is he doing, even though they're not supposed to know anybody's down up in the spot. And how would they know the sex of the person? Especially if the person's like camouflaged their area to where no one should be able to say that they saw or heard the target. Because what they're trying to do is induce fear that the target individual is going to be seen and or heard, or their property will be seen, and that the police will be called as a result. They'll be arrested and put in jail, and as a result they'll lose their Social Security. Now, if you don't believe that they're not threatening targets as finances, I strongly suggest you Google that as well. I read one blog from Sylvia L. Morales, I think it was dated back in November of 2012, about how they were constantly threatening her to steal her SSI checks. And then they finally did it. Well, they did the same shit with me in Michigan. Absolutely. Okay? Absolutely. Okay? Now, because it's all about creating the fear, reinforcing the fear, by even bringing about they'll say, gang stalking, why don't you come and steal her stuff? And then they'll say that for the target to hear. And then they'll reinforce it by repeating it, and then they'll actually do it once or twice, so the target individual has to worry the next day and the next day and the next day, is my stuff going to get stolen today? Dark neurolinguistic programming techniques of organized stalking, gang stalking expeditions. So can you imagine living like this every day? Who do you think I'm talking about? My name is Leslie Williams. I'm in San Diego, California. I live in La Jolla. I am a target victim and activist concerning the criminal expeditions of what is known as organized stalking, which can also be termed as gang stalking. Go to Google right now and type in UCSD and Law Library, Are They Networking Gang Stalking? That's my blog. Now, that blog has been hacked by the perpetrators who keep putting things in it. I take them out, they keep putting them back. Okay? I'm going to play you in a few seconds here 2 audio files through Instagram, my Instagram account, which is Exposing Truth. Exposing Truth is the name of the Instagram account. I'm going to play, Instagram only allows you to have a 15-second long audio or 15-second long video. So what I did was, I took 2 separate audio files of 2 separate events that were 11 months apart, 160 miles apart. The first event took place on Thanksgiving Day, 2013 in La Jolla. And the other event took place 11 months before in Yucca Valley, which is 160 miles away from La Jolla, Yucca Valley, California. What you're about ready to hear is 2 men repeating gang stalk, gang stalking, and gang stalking. I'm going to fuck you up. A threat while they're saying gang stalk. Because they wanted me to know that the threat and the fear generated from the threat was because of gang stalking. How did they know where I was in order to cut me off when I was riding my bike on a sidewalk? Okay, this is the Thanksgiving event. Oh, wait a minute. Listen carefully once it comes up here. Now, hold on, let me check how much minutes I got left. Alright, oops, my battery is running a little low right now, so if this video stops while I'm in the middle of talking, don't dismiss my statements in this video. I was beginning to say about, before I play the Yucca Valley one, let me also interject this as well. You can go to Google and YouTube and type in how remote neural monitoring can produce what is known as artificial dreams. Some people call them inserted dreams. Now you might think to yourself, that sounds crazy as hell. Well, when you Google remote neural monitoring and you bring up the PDF links pertaining to what it is, you'll literally see artificial dreams are literally incorporated within it. And basically what those are what is known as augmented reality and virtual reality theatric productions. Basically what they do is they capture an image of the target, their physical image, like if you were videotaping somebody, in extremely sophisticated high definition. They will then incorporate that body image within a software program and then use other individuals in these, just like you're watching a movie. And then what they will do is play out what is known as some of the most horrific theatrics. People being tortured, raped, and just a bunch of other crazy shit. Once it is created, these productions are created, they are literally transmitted into the target individual's video and audio cortex while they're sleeping. Now, when you research what I just stated to you, and you see that I'm telling you the truth, which you will because it's all over the internet. In fact, individuals that testified before the Bioethics Commission, go to YouTube and type in Timothy W. Bioethics issues. Once you bring up his YouTube video and listen to it, look at the YouTube videos that are on the sidebar until you see a video of people talking about inserted dreams or artificial dreams. And you'll see I'm telling you the truth. In fact, it's even mentioned on the Clyde Lewis shows. Okay, which I've even been on myself. Okay, those shows that I've been on, a few of them, their links are incorporated within the blog title that I told you about. So, when you look at how target individuals can be tortured while they're sleeping, and then putting up with non-stop psychological harassment and under the nature of threats, in the aforementioned descriptions alone that I described, can you imagine living this way? Now that was the Yucca Valley event. Okay, that I already aforementioned to you. That was caught on December 11th, 2012. Okay, 11 months before the Yucca Valley event occurred. Now you might think to yourself, well, why are people getting around me and repeating GangStalk? Oh my God, GangStalk, suck my dick, GangStalk, weird, GangStalk, crazy. I got 1,000 audio files of it being said around me repetitively and constantly. Rouse Grocery Store on La Jolla Village Square Drive. Their management, their employees, and people coming in and acting as customers are involved in a massive amount of GangStalking of me, and they will eventually stage an event there. Right now they're harassing me about using the electronic handicap card. Now, my name is Leslie Williams. I am on disability, and I do have a bad knee, okay? You just would not believe the harassment I'm enduring in there. And they will stage an event and or a complaint. They will make it look normal and appearing in order to ban me from that place that I go into to buy my groceries, and I'll sit at an area where you can, like if you go to the deli and get a sandwich, once you get the sandwich and you buy it, there's a little place in there for people to sit down and eat their food. I sit there along with other people that come in and sit there and eat their food or use their computer. They'll bring people in to sit right next to me and say, GangStalk, suck my dick, GangStalk, crazy, dick, suck, duck, suck, dick, GangStalk. And they just basically repeat it. I put management saying it. Now, cyber surveillance is a method of GangStalking, so they know they're being exposed. So what they'll do is start using creative events and excuses and complaints in order to make it appear they have a normal appearing reason to ban me, including trying to claim that I'm being banned because I was told I can't use the handicapped electronic card. You would not believe the crimes I'm experiencing in there, which are identical to a T concerning the crimes that I've experienced at camping areas, UCSD, USD, SDSU, and along my routes. So I made this video to inform, to expose the truth. Imagine having to live like this. Imagine it. every day. You're made homeless, and then where you go to sit at to be by yourself so you're not being harassed, they stalk you to that area and will engage in props, physical props, to make you paranoid that you're going to get caught and arrested, or that you're going to be assaulted, or that your property's going to be stolen. Imagine living like that every day, while you're harassed along all your routes every day and not knowing what's going to happen along your routes as well. Alright, I gotta go. I'm in San Diego, California. My name is Leslie Williams. So Google each description, and some of the descriptions you can YouTube. And you'll see I'm telling you the truth, because what I'm stating is all over the internet. Who am I talking about? Alright, I gotta go. I'm in San Diego, California. I do what I do to inform, to expose truth. And that's what I do, and I do it very well. Let's see if I am arrested for illegal lodging, trespassing, or encroachment in the next 60 days, no matter where I'm at. Go to that blog. UCSD and Law Library, Are They Networking GangStalking? Do it, and you'll see I'm telling you the truth. Thank you for listening, everybody. Have a good day.